Today, we're going to take things back to the basics. You might be able to see what we're preparing to do next, but let's get everything set up on how to jack up your classic Porsche 911 and identify the lift points. Before we get started, if you haven't, click that subscribe button to help support my channel. As we also know, there's many alternative ways to lifting your 911s, with a lift, quick jacks, ramps, 2x4s, but this is just how I do it on my cars. To begin, I'm going to show you the lift points on the rear driver's side. Here's your rear driver's side lift point. Across on the other side will be your passenger side rear lift point. When you move to the front, you'll find your front jack supports and you'll lift right here. One of the best ways to lift your rear is by the engine case. I highly recommend you use something soft like a rubber puck when you lift on your engine case, right down this middle section here. Also, you can ignore my oil drips on the catch tray, because if you know, you know. All classic Porsches leak a little bit of oil. Today I'm going to get the 964 on jack stands on all four sides. I start out with the rear driver's side lift point and I lift the rear. When the rear is lifted, I'll be able to put a jack stand underneath the front driver's side jack support location. You can raise the jack stand however high you want, but for my needs, I don't need to go that high today. Adjust your jack stand so the jack support is nicely seated on the jack stand. And then we move to the rear passenger side. Jack the rear passenger side up and then place the jack stand in the front passenger side. Most of my cars are really low, so I also do use wood blocks sometimes to help gain some clearance for my floor jack. And now we have the front lifted. To lift the rear, it's really easy. We simply use a floor jack to lift from the engine case lift point. Here's a closer look at where I lift, and again, I'm using a rubber puck to soften the contact point on the floor jack. Once the car is lifted, place a jack stand on each of the rear lift points. As you lower the car, make sure they are securely seated and positioned evenly. Earlier on one of my jack stands, it was set for a lower notch, so I came back later to raise it. You want to be cognizant that your car is level and the jack stands are all at the same height. Once the car is up, shake it to make sure it's stable before doing any work underneath the car. Always remember, safety, safety, safety first. Most of the time, we only need to lift the car from the rear on our 911s. And here's one more time, just doing it on the rear of the other 964. There are other ways of lifting your 911s, so you can figure out something that works best for you. This applies to the 964s, 993s, and older G-bodies. Also, there are people who don't like to lift from the engine case because it stresses the motor mounts, and sometimes they can break. But it's one of the best methods for lifting our cars, and I've done this for years, just like many others. It's like saying something on our 30-year-old car is not going to break one day. Stay tuned for our next videos where I'll be changing the oil, removing the exhaust, and some of the body panels. If you haven't yet, help me out with a sub to help support my channel, and give this video a like so I know to continue making more content like this. This is not a sponsored video, and thanks for watching. And most importantly, keep leveling up.